good, everybody? Happy Thursday already. Next day down, all is good. Hey, boy, Elon Musk is in some trouble, huh? I don't know if you saw that, but the SEC suing Elon Musk. They're going to give a press conference here in just a minute. More importantly, if you're one of our customers tonight, join me real quickly. In your email, you got a link to a live class we're going to do. It's going to be recorded, but why you might want to consider widening out your portfolio and what options we would like to sort of put in front of you to make that decision. We'll keep it really short. I promise I'll do the intro and just kind of go through the bulk of it, and then I'll stick around and help answer questions and go more in detail for those of you that don't have a lot of time. So tonight, 8 o'clock, you already have the email in your inbox. If you don't know what in the world I'm talking about, I'm Dustin Tibbetts, financial advisor with Jazz Wealth Managers. I hope you'll check us out. But we go over the markets here. So up at the top there, you've got the global markets, you've got bonds, you've got commodities, and of course the U.S. markets as well. Down at the bottom, just some information about little blurbs throughout the day, as well as the sectors, different sectors in the market. So today, mostly a recovery day in the markets, though this is not the type of day where you go, yeah, back to highs, here we go, everything's good. Also, we are not short-term traders for retirement accounts, by the way. We just do the day-to-day market update to help you out. So by no means are we an active investment company. Anyways, so not one of those days where you get that nice solid feeling that everything's going to be fine. If you look down towards the bottom, although it's a little bit jumbled, banks weren't with us today. We had a number of different sectors that just were not with us today overall, and a lot of it was sort of tech related. We'll jump into that in a moment, but you got the Dow higher by 54 points. It was significantly higher on the day, double that. Couldn't finish strong. It was one of those where people started selling into the rally. That's important to note if you're a short-term trader. The S&P 500 was higher by 8, and the Nasdaq added 51 on the day. I'll point out here, well, let's just go over to the charts. You got the S&P on your screen. You'll kind of notice that the uptrend here has become real tight and controlled towards the upper end of the range. Now, if you don't know what all that means, no problem. It just means that if the markets fell here, nobody would really complain, right? I mean, maybe some people that don't know the markets can fall and they, it's their first time, okay, but for the most part, if the markets fell pretty cautiously here and not very, very aggressively like over here, I'd continue to say that it wouldn't be a big deal. It would attract new buyers. So for the S&P, I don't really have any concerns there. The Dow, same thing. Looks like it's ready to pull back. Tech did a little better today. That was largely because of names like Apple. Apple was upgraded by JP Morgan and had some positive things to say there. So you got a 2% pop out of Apple. Amazon, you got a gain of about 2%. They opened a new store. Lots of good news going on with Amazon there. And then Facebook even got a 1% pop, though I'll say that pop today was, if you look at like really close at during the day how the stock moved, what happened is every time it tried to pop, it got pushed down. Every time it tried to pop, it got pushed down. Every time it tried to go up, it got pushed back down a little bit. And although it says that there is a gain of 1% on the day, it was a struggle, right? It was a real struggle to make that happen. So that's that one. If we look around at some of the different sectors today, utilities got a little bit of a bounce. That's just because interest rates did sort of settle back in. They didn't fall. I mean, they did a little bit, but they didn't fall in a way that's like going to change everybody's mind. But they did take a little bit of a break. So you got the, kind of a little reprieve in the decline here for both utilities as well as real estate. Can we pull up real estate? Yeah, real estate up about 0.5%, but that doesn't change anything. Just a temporary little pop going on there, so not too bad. And then if we look at the communication services sector, that's a big focus just because it's new. Everybody's all excited about that one. That's your best performer, I believe, on the month, actually, out of all the sectors. So communication services doing well. And like we mentioned, that was because of some of those names we just brought up a minute ago. A couple stocks to go over. If you're interested in individual stocks, no, that's not it. What did I do? I thought I typed that. McCormick, I get that confused with McKesson. McCormick, a bit of a wild range today, down 1% on the day. Earnings report, they missed a little bit there, wasn't so exciting. However, they did guide forward for the rest of the year, so a lot of attention given to that, early on in the day, which helped pull it off of those lows. Still pretty strong stock overall. I thought you'd be interested to know Papa John's. What are you doing, Miguel? You trying to speak a different language, Miguel? Papa John's, that one is up again, almost another 2%. It's now official that the company has asked people to submit bids to buy the company. So if you're interested in buying Papa John's, they're asking for bids. What's a fair price to pay for Papa John's? They've asked a few people to go ahead and submit bids. And honestly, Papa John himself, John Schnatter, he says he's not trying to buy his company back. So it was rumored that he was working with a private equity firm to try to buy his company back. Not the case, it seems, or at least he denied that. So Papa John's, decent little day on that one. Not really a stock we talk a lot about, but something interesting there. Tesla, you might see the news conference going. Yeah, we covered that. News conference going on right now. Oh boy, the stock's down about $35. Mr. Musk is being sued by the SEC. And just so you know, and you don't let the headlines mess you up, how this works is actually a pretty simple process, given that we are SEC registered investment advisors. So we don't have like bad dealings with the SEC, but we do work with them. What happened is when the SEC has a problem, they give you a chance to answer back. So they have already talked to Elon Musk and said, we've got an issue with what you did. Can you prove that what we think you're doing is wrong? Can you give us anything to say that you were actually doing something different? And he couldn't. So where we're at right now is the SEC officially going after Elon Musk. They will be asking for penalties. They will be asking for him to pay back anybody that lost money. They may even be asking him to lose his, or to not be affiliated with an SEC registered company, which, by the way, I think he wants that. You know, I don't know. You can kind of tell he wants that. But anyways, we're past the point of speculation. So when the SEC comes after you like this, it means they've actually given you a chance to come back privately and fix your issue. So if we ever did something wrong here, the SEC would come to us and say, yo, you said this and this and this. We take issue with that. Can you tell us that you meant something different or prove that that's not what you said? And if you go, no, I said it. I'm sorry, I said it. Then they go, fine, you owe this penalty, or we're going to ask you to do certain things. Depends on how bad the issue was. So that's where we're at. This is not like one of those things like, well, maybe they'll get away with it. Maybe it won't be such a big deal. They're going to have to deal, or he is going to have to deal with this. And we'll see. I mean, you know, it's what it is. I think everybody kind of knew something was going to happen. Bed Bath & Beyond, we covered this yesterday. It actually finished down 21% today. That's what you call a bad day for a stock, 21%. It's not good. So the stock missed on earnings, missed on revenue, just wasn't a good earnings altogether. Tilray, if you're following along, was up 14%. I think it was a lot of it because of, not Kronos, Canopy and Constellation. A lot of it had to do with that, the investment in Constellation. I'll tell you that from a stock perspective, that's a fake out. So what you're seeing today that's attracting all these people to come back to the stock and go, yay, pot stocks again, they're going to go up. No, it's not. I'm not telling you what to do, but that is a classic fake out that you will see, I believe, get erased. PBR, this is a Brazilian oil company. It is the Brazilian oil company, up 5%. They settled a lawsuit. Really interesting lawsuit. If you have like no other thing to do tonight and you want to read about that, it's pretty weird, man. There's some weird stuff that goes on in this world. Anyway, stock was up by 5%. Carnival Cruise down by 5%. Actually, earnings revenue wasn't bad. Passenger counts, everything was good. Fuel costs and the dollar pressure is what's given them a problem. So the stock took a little bit of a hit there. Amazon, we already covered that one. AMD. There we go. AMD got downgraded today, but nobody seemed to care. Why? Because when everybody gets excited about one thing, that's all they can focus on. That's it. Whether it has to do with the Supreme Court justice thing going on right now, there are groups of people, politicians and such, rightfully focused on this case, and that's all they care about. And so that's what happens. When we get stocks like Tilray, Kronos, Bitcoin, AMD now, Square maybe a little bit, it's got that feeling, when everybody focuses in on it, then that's all that matters. And that's all anybody focuses on. And like nothing else is worthwhile to them. You got that feeling here, and there was an analyst, I think it was Wedbush. Wedbush downgraded the stock, and they said, you know what? Investors and price are currently setting irrational expectations, or investors have irrational expectations to the price of AMD. In other words, it's gone too far, too fast, quit buying it. That's what he was saying. He said it, not me. So just pay attention to those things. I have spoken with, if you noticed yesterday I was a little bit down. I've spoken with a lot of people this week that have been burned. I mean, I'm talking numbers that you wouldn't believe. Burned by Bitcoin and pot stocks. I understand that everybody that posts on YouTube was able to pick the bottom of Bitcoin and become a millionaire. And I understand that everybody that was into pot stocks that posts on YouTube or posts on social media bought it and sold it, and now they get to buy a Ferrari. But the truth is, the people that in the world, and I know some of you watching, the truth is most people bought the high. They fell for the hype. And that's okay, right? These things happen, but learn the lesson. Don't do it. Stop doing it. So that's all I got there for that one. What else? Yeah, tonight we're going to go over the portfolios. We have, if you notice on our website, we have some portfolios have a little asterisk by them. Those will be only for our existing customers, and they're actually going to be part of an allocation. So you won't actually be able to say, I'd like that one, just the one. We're going to be showing the mix of those, how that all is going to go together, in case you want to widen your exposure. Now, before I answer questions, one last thing. We are an SEC registered investment advisor. If you happen to look that up, that doesn't mean that we just started this business like 3 weeks ago, right? Because I think it's been about 4 weeks actually since we've been SEC registered. It doesn't mean that we just started. We're about 3 years old, so we're not like an old company by any means, but think about it, right? Been doing the videos for 2.5 years now. How could we have just started the business? So just pointing that out, little things like that. How about Elon Musk? Yeah, Brendan, I wouldn't want to be him unless he doesn't want to be the CEO anymore, then in which case, pretty cool. What does the terminology guide forward mean regarding McCormick? So Mary, when a company says they're guiding positive forward or lowering their guidance going forward, basically Wall Street has a set, the easiest way I can say it is, Wall Street has a set expectation for how the company will do, what kind of earnings they'll bring in, what overall revenues will be. Maybe it's sales or number of individual like Apple, they focus on iPhones sales, so that's a metric that Wall Street will say, we expect you to sell this many. And so the company will a lot of times say, we are raising our guidance, meaning we told you we could do this for McCormick. Maybe they said, we initially said we could make this much money, we would probably sell this many, of our little spices and whatever. But now we're saying we're going to do a little bit better. And so McCormick actually said, we think we'll do a little bit better. And that was that. If the company says, look, earnings came out, they were great, we killed it, but hey, Wall Street, lower your expectations. Usually that means the company is, what they say is they're lowering their guidance going forward. There's a lot of other ways to look at that and to say that, but that's basically the idea. Wall Street has an expectation, and the company is saying either, yes, we agree with that, or no, we're going to do worse, or yes, we might do better, because they have obviously the best sort of pulse of their business. David in DC. Man, I got to tell you, I watched some of that Supreme Court Justice thing today. That's intense, man. That is grown-up drama at its finest, man. I would not want to be anywhere near that, but that's a tough one. I wish, we could get some stuff done here. You saw AMD stock ad in a DMV. Is that even legal? Yeah, it's legal, technically. You could run ads. It happens all the time where companies run ads, not the company, but other people run ads to buy stock and stuff. It's possible. It's not something I'll ever do. I can't, but general population, yeah, you could if you were selling a service or something. Derek, when expanding your stocks mentioned when, I don't know what you're saying, volatility hits, should you pick several stocks in the sector? Oh, we're going to cover that in great detail today. So my opinion is that this is the point in time in the stock market where we need to make sure we're taking part in as much as possible. Diversification, widen out. I don't like to use diversification because it's such a silly, complex word. But if you can widen out without increasing your costs, you should do it. Our customers don't pay anything, so whether we want to buy 7,000 different things or we just want to buy 3, they're not going to pay a penny more at all. They're not paying a penny for that anyway. So when we get that opportunity, the key thing there we're going to go over tonight, by the way, and sorry to go a little long, but the key thing we're going to go over tonight is when people get nervous about the market, they go to cash. And that doesn't make any sense. Every study on the planet, every study that we've done, every study I've shared with you guys shows you're messing around, you're missing out. But if you can keep what you need to get in growth out of your investment, but go wider, then you have the chance to do a bunch of different things there. So we'll go over it, not really the place, but I appreciate the comment there, or compliment, Mary. Yeah, so there you go. All right, what else? Anything else coming in while we've been talking? Let's check the wires real quick. Yeah, a couple earnings. Yeah, these are no names. Nothing really interesting, I think, that we want to look at there. Never even heard of that company. I think we're good to go. I really appreciate it, guys. I'm glad the stream worked well today, and hopefully it works well later. Cross my fingers. Enjoy. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to do the final dough show of the week at 1 o'clock, and then we'll do the closing beat to wrap things up. I hope. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will talk to you then.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.
Hey, wait! Before you go watch one of our other great videos, have you had a chance to see our new Fin Tips videos? They focus on one topic at a time, covering investing, personal finance, and anything that can quickly help you with your dough. Best of all, we'll keep it real short, because we know time is money.